Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tom, F. Dot, and it's another week. Week number 2 came around as far as the SPL is concerned. That's ended. We're heading into week number 3. Yeesh. My picks weren't so hot for week number 2. I took a couple of gambles, and I was just flat out wrong on a couple of them. That sucks. It's harder to do predictions earlier in the season because there's just less to go off of. As the season gets later and later, you can say, oh, this player has adopted this style, and this style works against this way or this, that, and the third, and it just happens, and it works out a little bit better as the season goes on. So in the beginning, don't be afraid if your picks are a little, just because there's less information to go on. We haven't seen these guys since Worlds, so it's whatever. Let's take a look at my week 2 picks. They, as I said, were a little iffy. I felt really good about my enemy over Randozzo's and my allegiance denial split, which I don't know if a lot of people had. I underestimated Soar a little bit. I definitely did. I underestimated Cringe Crew a little bit as well. This one I just got wrong. I really and truly, I just got this one wrong. I took a gamble on the split. I said if Paradigm wins this game against Panthera, then that's a very good look. But if Panthera doesn't drop this game to Paradigm in week 2, I don't think they're going to drop another game. And that's how I'm going to go with my picks. Panthera in the first split, I think, will be undefeated. So we'll take a look at how that works. The rest of them, obviously, you can see, wasn't too hot. I did have LG over Envy, and I think that's a good look. So heading into week number 3, the first match we're going to take a look at is Enemy versus Allegiance. Enemy's on a tear. They're on an absolute tear. And speaking to Payne and a couple of players after their games, the synergy that so many teams are trying to work with or work to obtain is already there for the squad. They already know what's going on. So as far as that's concerned, I'm not too afraid with Enemy. Whereas you take a look at Allegiance, and everybody's improving, but they're in the process of it. Enemy seems like they've already done it. So I do think it's at a certain point in the season that Enemy will be caught up to. Essentially, I feel like Enemy is here as far as just the way everybody's working and team synergy and blah, blah, blah. And slowly the teams are going to work like this and go one of these. And I think similar to last year, we're going to see the same thing. Where Enemy started their fall split out with 8-0, 8-1, and then continued to do well, but started losing games and then wound up pretty even at the end of the season because teams just usurped them. I think that's going to be a similar situation this year, but it's the beginning of the season. For right now, I think Enemy takes this 2-0. I do see a possibility of a split, but I'm going to put my money on 2-0. Soar versus Denial. Now, this is a little bit interesting. On paper, Denial looks like the team that should be booty stomping everybody, but it's just not happening at the moment. It's just not a thing. I don't really know what's going on, but they're not as successful as I might have originally thought. So with that in mind, Soar, on the other hand, I underestimated them last week, and I got in trouble for it. They really came out to play, and they did very, 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 very well. So I think it's going to be a similar situation where Soar does extravagantly, and Denial has to play a little bit of a catch-up game. I give this one to Soar over... I want to give this one a split, honestly. I think that Soar and Denial have similar skill levels, and that where Soar lands is... I don't know. This one's one of the tougher ones, in all honesty. I think that you're safe giving this a split. I think you're safe giving this Soar. Denial is probably a little bit of a stretch. I think they're very talented, but I don't know if they can take 2 games out above Soar. Do I go Soar or do I go split? I want to go split because I do have faith in the Denial squad, but at the end of the day, Soar is very talented. Envy over Randozzo's, come on now. LG over Eager, this one's a little bit more interesting. I think as we come back into it, Lumi versus Eager, again, Luminosity week 1. You heard Barracuda in week number 2 after their win against Envy. He said... Obviously, he had some personal issues going on, which sort of limited his time in the game, not just practicing by himself, but also practicing with the team, which is an issue. And that sort of has dissipated. Obviously, he's still going to have some issues, but he's able to practice with the team a little bit more efficiently. And now Luminosity looks like the team that they're supposed to be, honestly. going up against Team Eager, Zapman is on a different level, right? And Divios is playing real well as well. This is a Luminosity win over Eager, simply because DJ Pernicus has been struggling a lot, and Andy hasn't. I really think it comes down to something as simple as the jungle on the side of Luminosity is a stronger look than it is for Team Eager at the moment. Similar situation to Enemy, how I think it'll expand and go into a good direction for or a poor direction for Enemy as the other teams sort of struggle and get better. Eager is one of those teams. Throughout time, DJ Pernicus will just have more time available, and I think that Team Eager will really be one of the top teams in North America. Week number 3 might not be that week, especially as they're going up against Luminosity. I give this one to Luminosity. Paradigm versus Leftovers. This is Paradigm set to win. Leftovers definitely aren't as esteemed as their friends Paradigm are over in Europe. But Leftovers has a ton of skill. Nika in the solo lane has been really powerful, and Badger has really stepped it up, not just as a player, but also as a leader. You can really tell what's going on there as far as Badger's leadership and what he's able to do with the squad. So as a whole, I think you're looking at a very tough lineup for Leftovers. I think that they're very, very strong. But I do think that Paradigm has what it takes to sort of take them to take them to the cleaners. I think this is a 2-0 going Paradigm's favor, but don't expect these games to be easy or big blowouts. I expect these games to be very close, and I expect these games to go in Paradigm's favor. But Leftovers will threaten them. Hungry for More versus Torpedo. I think this is Torpedo's game. Hungry for More just hasn't shown much promise at all. I don't think it's quite a situation where they're never going to win a game, but I don't think this is the game they're going to win. I think that Hungry for More has struggled a lot. I think that Hungry for More will continue to struggle, and Torpedo is one of the newer teams coming into the scene, and I don't think Hungry for More's win comes here. I think Torpedo wins 2-0, and they even their record 3-3. Panthera versus Fanatic. Now, I have said that I think Panthera is going to go undefeated, period, end of story, in the beginning of the split. I think Panthera takes this over Fanatic, and I think this one will be close again, but when it comes down to it, late game, Panthera just are your most well-piloted team in the world. I think that when it comes down to it, the calls and the decisions are great. The actual mechanics are great. I really don't see a weakness on the side of Panthera. And even though Fnatic has gotten a lot better, and I think that Jiffy's struggles are temporary, similar to Hunger for More, I guess. I think that Fnatic will win games, but this is not the game for them. Cringe Crew versus Dignitas. I think that Cringe Crew is very strong. Cringe Crew is a lot stronger than they were last year as London Conspiracy, which is kind of hilarious because not much changed. They got a new jungler, which replaced their already good jungler in Cherio, and now they're in a situation where, I mean, the only thing different between them is the frickin' organization or lack thereof. That was obnoxious. I tried to mute my mic, and I'm sorry. But point being, I think that Dignitas is, again, going to continue to struggle, and we will see how they do. I think this is Cringe Crew's chance to really launch themselves into the higher end side of teams. I think they go 5-1 at this point, and they take 2 above Dignitas. Paradigm versus Dignitas, same situation. Unfortunately, this is a rough week for Dig. I think that Dignitas is one of the lower end teams. They have definitely surprised me in their individual skill, but as far as coming together as a unit, that's a completely different story. Paradigm take this one. Now, Sunday game, Envy versus Allegiance. Again, Envy is one of the top teams. It's going to be tough to really topple them and do work against them. So I think that Envy come up above Team Allegiance. I think it's possible that this winds up being a split, but I'm gonna put my coin on it just going the way of Envy. Last game is Monday Night Smite, Panthera versus Cringe Crew. I think that Panthera wins this. Again, I don't see Panthera dropping a game at all this split whatsoever. So I'm going to leave that there as well. Pretty simple week as far as that's concerned. I have Enemy over Allegiance. I actually want to change this. I want to go Soar. Strictly being because I don't... Denial just got a new jungler and a new mid laner. Not week 1, but week 2. So they're going to need some more time in the oven there. I think Soar has all of the synergy in comparison to Denial. So for Thursday, North American games, Enemy over Allegiance, Soar over Denial, Envy over Randozos. And then Thursday for the European matches, I have LG. What? No, I'm still talking about North America. What am I talking about? Sorry, guys. So Thursday, we have 4 games. I forgot we changed things around. So Thursday, North American games, Enemy over Allegiance, Soar over Denial, Envy over Randozos, Luminosity over Eager. I think that Luminosity versus Eager will be closer than people will anticipate. And I think that Soar over Denial. I think that LG over Eager is the one that I'm saying could be wrong. I think that Eager might be able to steal a game off of Luminosity. I think that's very possible. Friday, our European side of things, Paradigm versus Leftovers. I think this winds up being closer than people anticipate, but Paradigm eventually win 2-0 in 2 very long games. Torpedo versus Hungry for More. I think that Torpedo is, while not one of the top-end teams, I think that they are certainly more talented than Hungry for More, and I think they take this win. Panthera versus Fanatic will be very close, but I think Panthera takes it 2-0. I don't think Panthera loses at all this split. Cringe Crew versus Dignitas to round out the European matches on Friday. I think that Cringe Crew winds up winning pretty hard, honestly. I have been very impressed with what Cringe Crew has been able to do. And then moving on to the weekend, we've got Paradigm versus Dignitas. Paradigm takes that over Dig. Just top-end team versus not-so-top-end team. Sunday, Envy over Allegiance. Similar story, top-end team over a mid-range team. And then Monday, Panthera versus Cringe Crew. I think that this is a situation where Panthera just winds up mollywhopping Cringe Crew. And it might be a reality check, because I think Cringe Crew has been performing very, very well. And I think that they're going to win their matches this week, except until they run into the Radford train. So when it comes down to it, I think those are the picks as far as that's concerned. Part of me wants to change this to a split. Luminosity versus Eager is the only one I feel a little trepidatious about. I think that this one could be a split. I think that this one might earn me some 0 points. I think it's a very real possibility. You know what? I have to do it. I have to go split. So I'm going to switch this one up. I definitely think that Eager has what it takes to take a game off of Luminosity. And the players on Eager are the type of players to really step it up. My original reason for going Luminosity over Eager was just that DJ Pernicus has been struggling a lot, and I think he's going to continue to struggle this week as well. But when it comes to toppling Luminosity, this is the type of game that Pernicus feeds off of. This is the type of game that Zapman feeds off of. This is the type of game that Divios feeds off of. I think these players not necessarily have a chip on their shoulder, but they're definitely the type of player to really just pog champ their way through. They like highlight reels and big time plays, and they like playing against the big boys. They enjoy that sort of atmosphere. They're competitors. And so I think that even though DJ Pernicus has been struggling, I think that this is a match that he will step it up for. And even if he doesn't, Zapman has been performing very, very well. And if you put him in a spotlight game like this, I think it's just more reason for Eager to wind up with at least one win. So again, just to recap, Enemy Allegiance, Soar over Denial, Envy over Randozos, LG and Eager wind up splitting. Europe, Paradigm over Leftovers, Torpedo over Hunger for More, Panthera over Fanatic, and Cringe Crew over Dignitas. And then for the weekend, Paradigm over Dig on Saturday, Envy over Allegiance on Sunday, and then for Monday Night Smite, Panthera versus CC. I think Panthera wins that. I don't see them losing at all. That's going to be it for me. Make sure to leave a comment and all that other YouTube stuff. I think subscribe is a thing. I'm not too sure. But yeah, check it out and do all that fun stuff. Thanks for watching. Peace.